If you watch enough VGC players, all of us will utter the 5 words, I joined a draft league. But what is a draft league? A draft is something I get from my cat flap. I don't have a cat anymore, rest in peace Dolly, but I do still have a cat flap, and it lets a draft into the living room, which really makes me cold when I try and record. A draft can also mean an initial writing of a script or a drawing. And the word league is a group of people / players fighting it out to see who tops the league with the most points. So are me and my competitors seeing who has the worst draft enter their living room, or are we all writing an initial script and seeing whose initial script would get turned into a TV show? No, because this draft is a Pokemon draft. The way this works is May Mingles, Say Singles, Jay Jingles invited 9 other players into his Ditto Draft League. So the Ditto Draft League is to be played under the Reg F rule set. It's called Regulation F because the word that people usually say starts with an F when they usually see Flutter, Chi-Yu, Urshifu Rapid Strike in Rain, or Calm Mind Raging Bolt. Each Pokemon in this league was rated from 20 to 1 on how valuable they are perceived to be. And then each player was ranked number 1 to number 10 randomly, and then we would participate in something called a snake draft. This was not us drafting snakes, because if we were, I would have drafted the tiger snake. No particular reason, I just like the name. We are not going to be just drafting snake Pokemon because there aren't many of them. However, I would have picked Silly Cobra because I like the name. To explain how the process of a snake draft works, I have drawn this easy to follow diagram. The draft enters at the mouth, or player 1 as we will call them, and works their way down. I was placed around the stomach area, or player 6. We would draft all the way down to the bowel, or player 10, but instead of exiting out of the bowel player would pick twice, and then the draft would work its way all the way back up to the top, where it would not exit the mouth. Instead, player 1 would pick 2 more Pokemon, and it would continue as such until we have all drafted 10 Pokemon, and then the draft can safely exit through the mouth, being vomited up by the snake that we have all drafted upon. So with that all expertly explained to you, now let me get into the 10 Pokemon that I selected to be a part of the West Suffolk Splashers. For my number 1 draft pick, I wanted to choose a Pokemon that when I play Reg F, I hate playing against. And for me, at 17 points, Landorus I was a steal. This is a Pokemon that when I face it, when I played Reg F on the ladder, I hated playing this Pokemon because it would just seem to one-shot everything. It would be super strong. I had no answers for it. The substitute sets that came out just infuriated me. So Landorus I, for me, was an absolute shoo-in for my first pick. For number 2, I wanted to establish a kind of archetype, I guess, for my team. And this and Landorus, I think, work outside of the technique that I was going for. However, Archaludon is a Pokemon that I also hate facing in Reg H. It's a Pokemon that I'm quite comfortable using. It's a Pokemon that can either run Stalwart, Sturdy, which I've used quite a lot, or the very common and very popular Stamina set. I think Archaludon is a Pokemon that can be used in many different ways. I think it can be built to be a tank, and I think that it is a Pokemon that people on every team would have to prepare for, whether I decided to bring it or not. So from pick 3 onwards, these aren't actually in the order I drafted these Pokemon. And I know for a fact I didn't draft this Pokemon next, but it is probably the next highest points-wise. Basculegion, I guess you can see what kind of team I'm building here. Yes, there is a rain element to my team. Basculegion is one of those Pokemon where you can run it with adaptability, you can run it with Swift Swim, and it can go Choice Band, it can go Life Orb, it can go Choice Scarf. There's so many different things that you can do with Basculegion. It's a Pokemon that I have used quite a lot in Reg H. It's a Pokemon that I am relatively comfortable playing. There was a point where I was considering, do I go for the lower point pick of going Basculegion female, or do I go with the male version? And for me, I just felt like the male version was valuable. At the time when I picked it, I had the points available, so I thought, let's just go all in on Basculegion. Number 4. This was one of my last picks, I believe. It was another one of those Pokemon where I had the points left over. I went with Iron Treads. This Pokemon has some synergy with a few Pokemon which you're going to find out in a minute. It has some immunities to some spread moves, which I was looking to bring into the team. And for the points that it was, I believe Iron Treads was 11 points to draft. I just felt like the ground coverage, the fact that I can get rid of terrain with Steel Roller when there was, I think, all 4 terrains could have been drafted. For those matchups, I thought, hey, these people might build around terrain. Iron Treads can get rid of the terrain and we're off to the races. So Iron Treads was one of those picks where it had certain immunities I needed, it had a certain typing that I needed, and for me, for the amount of points it was, where I was in the draft, it was the pick to make. Now, here's Politoed. Yes, Alex, wow, you're so basic, Running Rain. I like Running Rain, but choosing Politoed was, and I'm not going to go too much into my strategy here, but having Rain on a team makes people have to prep for Rain. Whether I'm going to bring it or not, they have to be like, Alex has got so many Rain pieces. But Landorus, Basque, Arch don't need to be run with Rain. So picking Politoed was kind of a, if it works, it works. But if it doesn't, people have to look at the team and be like, Alex might bring Rain. I need to have this Pokemon with priority weather setting. I need to harsh counter Rain. So for the pick that it was, I was like, hey, it gels into these puzzle pieces, brings them all together. But if I don't need it, it's still something that people have to look at and respect, I guess. So Politoed joins the team. The next pick, goes with the Rain Core, Overquill. Overquill, a Pokemon that I'm very comfortable using. You will see a trend here. I've said a lot of these Pokemon I'm very comfortable using. I like using Overquill. Overquill has some versatility, which you may not know. Overquill has Intimidate, Overquill has Poison Point, and it does have Swift Swim. So if I have a battle where Rain is looking very, very nice to me, it's a Pokemon that gets Swift Swim that does not have that water typing, which people might over prep for. And then I have Poison and Dark coverage fast. And also, I do like running Overquill with Explosion, but don't tell anybody who's in the league, please. Next pick, and I think it's a bit of a sleeper pick, Kilowattrel. Kilowattrel is so fast, it can do quite a few things, and it does work with one of those immunities which I was talking about with Iron Treads. I can sit next to Iron Treads with this thing and discharge, and fast discharge and fast Earthquake combo can never go wrong. Because it's, Disquake is a popular strategy, I guess. And it's something that if it looks good into an opposing team, they have to prep for it. Kilowattrel can set me Tailwind. I can run competitive. I can run Wind Power. I can run Volt Absorb. This Pokemon, to me, is not just a one-trick pony. It's something that I think can be quite dangerous. However, the pick of my draft is the next pick. I think people were sleeping on Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory is my bread and my butter. Monkey Dory is the Pokemon that when I looked at this and I looked at the tiers and I saw the points, I was like, I am drafting that thing. And I know for a fact it was either my 4th or my 5th pick. I looked at Monkey Dory and I said, I got you, bae. You are on my team. Don't you worry about it. Monkey Dory has Fake Out, it has Parting Shot, it has Frisk, so I can see the opponent's items, which is important in this draft because the only thing we know of our opponents is the Terra type. It's Open Terra, closed team sheet. So I have to sit here with my notepad and write things as they happen. However, if I bring Monkey Dory at the start of a battle, I can just tick off 2 items straight off the bat. Monkey Dory is fast. It has synergy with Iron Treads again, and Archaludon, because I can go for Sludge Waves next to those two. If I decide not to run Frisk, I can do Toxic Chain. It has a high chance of getting poisons on the opposing Pokemon. I think Monkey Dory is going to be a Pokemon that if I don't bring it every week, there has to be a good reason why I don't bring it. Because for Fake Out, for Frisk, for just the coverage it gets, for the speed it is, I think it's a good Pokemon. And I look forward to trying to make this thing work. Now we're going to go into my 2 low tier picks. I will go with the one that I actually picked to be on my team, which was Diplin. Diplin is a tank when it has Eviolite. It's got great synergy with some of my Pokemon because I can use the Super Sweet Syrup ability, which will make Sandshrew Storm more accurate. It will make Hurricanes from Kilowattrel more accurate. It could make, let me think of another inaccurate move. I have Draco Meteor from Archaludon. It will make that more accurate. Any of my moves that I'm not 100% certain I'm going to hit, I just slap Diplin on the field, Super Sweet Syrup, we're having a good time. That thing can get Pollen Puff, so I can Pollen Puff up my own Pokemon, and it's a slow Pollen Puff, so it will probably likely happen at the end of a turn, and I can just get my health back. So that's a great with Archaludon. Yeah, I just think Diplin for 2 points, I think it was a great Eviolite user. Could be wonderful for me in certain matchups. And then we go to my last pick, and I did consult friend and member of the Ditto Draft League, John Luke. I said to John Luke, hey, here's my comfort picks that I'm thinking of taking these last 2 points. And I also messaged quite a few people. So I'll tell you the 3 options I had to fill this last gap before I tell you the Pokemon I picked. Squawkabilly, because it gets Intimidate. I usually run it with Choice Scarf. It can have Final Gambit, and I can work out from, Pokemon Showdown, Pokemon on the opposite team that have HP that I can Final Gambit Squawkabilly with. I can Choice Scarf, Parting Shot, Terra Ghost. It means I get the Parting Shot off, all of that good stuff. The other comfort pick I had for the 2 points was Stonejourner. And Stonejourner is a Pokemon that I've used a lot. I think Power Spot is an amazing ability. I've used it a lot in Reg F alongside like Chen Pao and Pokemon like that. It's one of those support pieces that if you leave it unchecked, it can actually do damage with Rock Slide, Low Kick. Obviously Wide Guard. It has Wide Guard. It's a really good physical wall. So if my opponent has like physical heavy Pokemon, I can like just run Stonejourner and its physical defense is just immense and it can sponge hits. And the last Pokemon that my Discord chat actually said, hey, this has great synergy with some of your Pokemon, was Alolan Golem. And it's a Pokemon again that I've used and I'm quite comfortable with. Galvanized Explosion next to Kilowattrel would have been very funny because it would have given me HP back on Kilowattrel and could have potentially wiped a board, Big Terra Electric Galvanized Explosions. But yeah, I then consulted John Luke. And John Luke said, hey, you don't want Squawkabilly because you've already got Kilowattrel. And there's a bit of a discrepancy there with like the typings. You want to get something that's different to what you've got and has utility. And he suggested Quagsire. And, he said, Water Absorb, very good. It's physically and especially defensive. So it can sponge hits and you can be annoying with it. And I did sit on it for a while. He did give me other reasons. I haven't got the message up now. I don't want to go through it. I trust John Luke. So I did sit for a while and I considered my options. And I did, in the end, draft Quagsire. I listened to John Luke and I took Quagsire and he is on the West Suffolk Splashes. Before week 1, we had the option to do 2 free drafts. And I'm not going to make excuses. My wife is 8 months pregnant and I've had a lot of family stuff going on trying to get the house sorted ready for the impending arrival of said child. And I didn't see the message saying, hey, this is the deadline for the trades. And I sat thinking for ages and I was like, Quagsire, I like my comfort picks. So I messaged Pay Pingles, Jay Jingles, and I said, Jay, I would like to get rid of Quagsire. He can't find his way to training. Stonejourner, put Stonejourner in. And Flayflingles sent me a message back and said, this will have to be legal from week 2 because you missed the deadline. And I said, can I retract my message. Let's see how Quagsire does. So, there we have it. Week 1, we have a doozy of a battle. I won't go into the teams. The other content creators are creating their team reveals. I have linked down below a list of all of the players in the Ditto Draft League. They are releasing their team analysis, and you can go check them out for yourself and see what you think to everybody's teams. Subscribe to everybody that's in the league so you can watch their perspectives of their battles against me, or just keep up with the people that you like. There is a fan doc. I don't know if I can share it yet. If I can, the link for that is down below. What do you think of the West Suffolk Splashes? Do you think that we can at least get one set win? That's what I want. I know that I'm not very good. I'm very appreciative to Jay. And I did say your name properly there because, you know, I'm actually talking from the heart here, Jay. Thank you for asking me to join this. I don't think you know what you got yourself in for. I am a funny ha-ha guy that uses rental teams who wants to get better at this game, but has 2 children. So I can't sit there with my calculator and figure things out. So I very much go for vibes. And if you're enjoying the vibe, then you can actually become a channel member. Let's plug that. I will do team rundowns, membership-only videos, going over the team with the movesets for the battles. They will be for all members of AlexUsedSplash. And you can also join my Discord. The link for that is down below. Other than that, you can like and subscribe. Join me, jump into the pool with me, and support your West Suffolk Splashes. And let's go swimming.